Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long night until Winds of Winter, House of the Dragon, or whatever else we decide to talk about. By the way, American Horror Story will be back on soon. There was some discourse on Twitter though, right? And in episode 9 of Obsidian Nights about Jon Snow and about Jon Snow's real name being Aegon Targaryen. I don't think Jon Snow's real name is Aegon Targaryen. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the books. Rhaegar has a son by Ilya Martell, already named Aegon. In this video, I'm going to explain why I do not think Jon's real name is Aegon, and I'm going to do even one better and tell you what I think his name actually is. So before we get into what his name could be, let's first talk about why it's not Aegon. The most obvious reason it's likely not Aegon is because, like I said, in the books, Rhaegar had a son by Ilya Martell that he named Aegon already. Now, this Aegon is rumored to be dead, killed during the sack of King's Landing, but actually, he's not dead. Or the guy that's saying that he's him, he's a pretender, and he's not really Aegon. So the show Game of Thrones never included this character or this storyline at all. So as far as the show goes, Jon's name being Aegon could be their own thing. It may just be a detail that the showrunners thought wasn't important, or that George wanted to reveal on his own. I think it makes sense for the show Jon to be named Aegon, because if you're not into the high nerdery book lore side of the fandom and you're just like a casual watcher of Game of Thrones, you have heard the name Aegon before and you would resonate with it. Aegon is one of, if not the most well-known name in all Targaryen history. There have been many a Aegon. 6 kings were named Aegon. Aegon. So if Jon is supposed to be this magical, divine, prophetic child, why the hell would you name him the same thing as his older brother? It doesn't make sense. I went back into the histories of the Targaryen lineage and I couldn't find any brothers or sisters with the same name. I even did this with other houses. So like House Frey, they have a lot. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, they have a lot of Walders, but not 2 with the same parents, or some name that has some form of Walder. So they have Waldra, Walda, Waldron, Walder, but never the exact same name between siblings. Now, Walder Frey's kids and others have kids, and each one has at least one Walder, but not 2 with the same parents. It just doesn't happen. So I really can't find anything in the text that supports that Jon's name would be Aegon. And I scoured the web for theories that predated the show saying that Jon Snow's name was Aegon, or somebody theorizing that Jon Snow's name was Aegon, and there was none that I could find that had theorized Jon's name would be Aegon prior to season 7. But maybe there was. That's really not even a point here. I posed the question to my patrons and they had some interesting answers. Like, I really like the idea of Rhaegar naming his other 2 children Rhaenys and Aegon. It seems like he was trying to complete the 3-headed dragon of the Conqueror and his sisters. So they may have expected a girl, Visenya, or maybe they wanted to go with that V name and Jon's name might have been Viserys. Rhaegar's brother was named Viserys, and it isn't uncommon for a child to be named after their uncle in Westeros. So I also like the idea that Jon's name is Jaehaerys. Jaehaerys was his grandfather's name, but there isn't much in the text to support this. But there is a lot to support another name. The name of the Targaryen that Jon was the closest to. The name of the Targaryen that Jon was counseled by at the Wall. Aemon Targaryen. I think Jon Snow's real name is Aemon Targaryen. The first clue about Jon's name being Aemon is Targaryen lineage. Aemon is a traditional Targaryen name. Aemon and Aegon among brothers' names pop up together all through Targaryen lineage. While there have been a lot of Aemons, there has never been a King Aemon. And if you look at Jon and where his story is headed, I don't think Jon will be king either. The most recent Aemon, Maester at the Wall, Maester Aemon, refused the throne and it passed to his little brother, Aegon, better known as Egg, which is something I feel Jon Snow will do. He has no interest in the throne, and it will pass to his little brother, Bran. Jon has a very good relationship with Maester Aemon, and Jon's name being Aemon has been a theory for years. For years and years and years, it's been a theory. Many people have theories on Jon's name being Aemon. If Jon's name is Aemon, then Rhaegar named Jon Snow after his great uncle, Aemon Targaryen, Maester of Castle Black. And Maester Aemon himself was named by Daeron II after his uncle Aemon, the DragonKnight, although some whisper the uncle was really the father. My father was Maekar, the first of his name, and my brother Aegon reigned after him in my stead. My grandfather named me for Prince Aemon the DragonKnight, who was his uncle, or his father, depending on which tale you believe. Aemon, he called me. Aemon? Targaryen? Jon could scarcely believe it. Aemon the DragonKnight is a reoccurring figure throughout all the books, and it starts appearing very early in the first book. It appears like in Bran 2. So first off, Aemon the DragonKnight has an older brother, and his older brother is Aegon. Jon has an older brother. Jon's older brother is Aegon. Also, the DragonKnight enters the Kingsguard very young and rises to become Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, as Jon enters the Night's Watch very young and rises to become Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. But there's tons of clues in the text that point to Aemon being Jon's real name. So in A Clash of Kings, Lord Commander Mormont sits and talks to Jon and tells Jon all about Maester Aemon and Aemon the DragonKnight. It made him feel odd. My lord, why have you told me this about Maester Aemon? Must I have a reason? Mormont shifted in his seat, frowning. Your brother Robb has been crowned king in the north. You and Aemon have that in common, a king for a brother. And this too, said Jon, a vow. Mormont is talking about Robb Stark. But look deeper into it. Jon would not only have a king for a brother, just like Maester Aemon, Jon's brother would be named Aegon. But yes, they are also both sworn by vows to stay at the wall while their families are almost wiped out. They have so much in common. Also, in A Storm of Swords, Jon even says, while reminiscing about Winterfell, that he and Robb used to play swords and heroes and knights, and guess who Jon would play? Every morning they had trained together since they were big enough to walk, Snow and Stark, spinning and slashing about the wards of Winterfell, shouting and laughing, sometimes crying when there was no one else to see. They were not little boys when they fought, but knights and mighty heroes. I'm Prince Aemon the DragonKnight, Jon would call out. And Robb would shout back, well, I'm Florian the Fool. I mean, guys, there's tons of evidence in the text and tons of theories that already exist on this. So here's another Jon is Aemon microcosm that's happening at the wall as we speak. So in the books, Jon sends Gilly, Maester Aemon, and Sam to Old Town. But before they go, they do a baby swap. They swap Gilly's son with Mance Rayder's son, the Wildling Prince. Mance's son's mother, Dalla, died giving birth to him. Now, they do this because Jon fears that Stannis Baratheon's fanatical followers and Melisandre will try to sacrifice Mance's baby because of its king's blood. So we have Jon Snow sending off a prince whose mother died in childbirth out of fear that the Baratheon king might kill him. The baby is taken away by a lord and his milk mother. The lord passes the baby off as his bastard son. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like Eddard taking Jon, a secret prince whose mother had died in childbirth, claiming him as his son, hiding his identity because he feared the Baratheon king would kill him? Yes, it's exactly the same. Jon Snow story is exactly the same as Mance Rayder's son's story. Well, guess what? Do you know what Gilly and Sam names Mance's secret baby prince that they are hiding from the Baratheon king? Aemon. His name is Aemon. Just like I think Jon's name will be Aemon. Also, we learn in A Feast for Crows that Rhaegar had a good relationship with Maester Aemon. They were close. They talked about prophecy often, it seems, like throughout Rhaegar's life from youth to his death. Rhaegar told Aemon about the comet above King's Landing the night Aegon was conceived. I have no doubt that Rhaegar would have named his son after his great uncle, Maester Aemon Targaryen. The evidence, in my opinion, clearly points to Jon Snow's true name being Aemon Targaryen. If you think it's Aegon, please show me how. Show me where in the actual text, because I'm willing to bet my pinky toe that Jon Snow's real name is Aemon. But what do you think? What do you think Jon Snow's true name is? As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.